Hi, my name is Junior J.R. Cali. You may notice something pretty amazing, and you might have seen it from the way I'm moving, how animated I am. And yes, I do indeed have a candle now. Oh my god, I never thought a candle could do so much. It's honey and vanilla. It's pretty nice. Makes my eyes look good too. Anyways, oh yeah, and I guess I have a couch and a gigantic Walmart box for something else. Don't even worry about that. This video is a video that is 100% needed in the calisthenics community because nobody talks about this. It is just ghetto calisthenics where it's just like just do what you want, just do the hard work. I have everything written down. This video is about how to maximize your max, whether it be a lot of reps or whether it be the highest progression or like the highest amount of weight you can put on top of your body for weight calisthenics. This is a calisthenics based channel, so no more yap. The first tip for anyone who wants to maximize their max whenever they're doing anything is treat the warm up like as if it is your max. What I mean by that is that when we go through our warm up, we usually just like don't care at all and kind of just go through the motions. When you actually dedicate as much mental focus as you would a max effort movement, like you're going for a full planche, you're going for a deadlift that's super heavy, you every time you approach the bar or the pull-up bar, you look at it different. You look at it just like, I am going to maximize everything I can and put as much focus as I can to get everything I can out of this thing. You should apply that same thing to your warm-ups. I understand you can't treat everything like it's your max every time, but when you are training and it is a strength day or a skill day, or you just need to perform hard that day, treat the warm-ups as if it is your max. Treat it with just as much respect and patience when you're doing it. You're not rushing anything. You're making sure you're getting everything out of it. The next tip, if you want to maximize your maxes in calisthenics, you need to understand how to brace, breathe, and tighten. Muscular tension. You basically want to have actual good kinesthesia or just muscle body awareness. You have to be able to flex all of your muscles, the entire body. What this does is that when you flex your entire body, performing any type of movement, it plugs up any energy leaks. I learned that from Athlete X like freaking 7 years ago, but it still holds true to this day. Active tension is it's like extra energy being used that, like when you're doing a bench press or a pull up, you're not actively flexing like your calves or anything. You might be pointing your toes though. The whole pointing toes thing and squeezing muscles together makes it so much easier. Like when you're doing a handstand, when they say point your toes, it's because you're having energy leaks and you're plugging them all together, focusing all of the extra energy you have into the movement. The next would be bracing, or I guess tightening and bracing is kind of like the same thing, but it's kind of just like mentally flexing before you do anything. Now breathing though, now here's how to breathe whenever you're doing like a lot of reps, but it's different depending on the push-up or depending on the exercise. But most of the time on the hard part, when you're exerting, that's when you breathe out. When you're doing pull-ups, when you're going up or when you're going back down from the pull-up, you're breathing in, you're out and in. If you look at any of the calisthenic athletes who have mics close to their chest, you'll actually hear how they breathe whenever they do calisthenics. It's like a belly. The guy who's like 50 years old still does 50 pull-ups straight. He literally breathes when he's doing pull-ups. Now, if you're going to do one rep movement, it can depend. It can be like I never benched before, but I've done push-ups where it's just like I'm breathing in, going down. Or what I'll do is I'll just hold my breath while I'm on the bottom position and then exert. You can either exert or you can hold your breath, depending on what people feel that's good for them. Next thing is no pre-workouts unless you got this together, okay? You can't take pre-workout. But what I am saying is that people worry about the wrong shit when they're performing anything. Do not freaking even look at pre-workout or supplement direction until you have your sleep and your eating habits right. That will do as good as you think steroids is going to do to you. You cannot rely on like substances or like stimulants to get you through the workout. Of course, some days you need them. But when I'm talking about before you invest anything, make sure your shit's good. Make sure you're sleeping consistent at least 5 to 9 hours, 5 to 8 hours, whatever you need to actually not be groggy. If you feel groggy throughout the day and you know it's because you didn't sleep well, don't even freaking worry about the supplements. Get that shit together. You're gonna feel like a powerful being after sleeping for 8 hours. That is better than any pre-workout or any coffee you could drink. A good night's sleep and eating enough to have energy, better than any pre-workout. And then the next thing is pre-workout. You can take pre-workout, but you got to like time it right depending on calisthenics athletes. Calisthenics athletes, it can be. I'm gonna keep it real. Sometimes it makes me go number 2. So calisthenics is a body weight game. Less you weigh, I'm just super saying. If you do the thing, if you drink your pre-workout at the right time, right before you gotta do something, you lose some weight. And then I'm just saying, depends on how everybody reacts. The next would be periodization and deload. I'm not going to tell you how to program the deload or periodization, but I will tell you that I'll summarize it so that way you can get a better idea, because I have a lot of beginners on this. They can try this, a simpler version of this. Periodization is basically when you have set cycles, so not steroid cycles, like set cycles and forms of training, and you have an end goal in mind. So for this calisthenics strength category, your end goal is to be able to, let's say, perform full planche. What you would do is that you would take like 6 to 8 weeks of just purely training strength. Then the next 6 to 8 weeks building muscle. Then the next 6 to 8 weeks skill practice. You would do that, and at the end of said training cycle, you would take like a week off just so you can let your muscles chill and relax. You could do like a recovery day to wake up your muscles, get them comfortable, get some practice in. And then after said deload, what would happen to your body is you would engage in super compensation. Your body is like, we have a chance to breathe. We're going to maximize and double his strength in order for us to deal with whatever that is. You're going to be like a Viltrumite. So after said deload week, warm up, and it could be a hit or miss. I'm not going to lie. It could be maybe the next day after recovery training, or it could be like, hey, maybe wait a couple more days. It could vary. I'm not going to lie and say, oh yeah, you're just going to perform at your absolute peak at this time. No, I'm not going to do that. The next thing, when you're training for strength or calisthenic skills, one thing that people mess up on, and same thing with the maxes, you treat the warm-ups or your strength training sessions like as if it is already your max. Give your rest times long. Like, I don't even go by a timer. I go by feel, just because I can feel, if I want to maximize my strength, I can't be tired doing it. So I wait until I'm literally confident enough to where I can do a couple more reps. Next thing, when you're going for your max, try to adjust the form actually. When you want to maximize your max rep or reps, you want to adjust the movement to where it is hitting the markers of what you consider a good quality movement, and the movement is also easier for you. So for example, if you want to have a max on pull-ups and you want to maximize as many as possible, the wider your pull-up grip is, the easier and less range of motion you have to go through, allowing you to do more pull-ups. That's why every world record who does pull-ups, every world record holder in pull-ups, they have a super wide grip because it cuts the range of motion, but they still hit the qualifications of what counts as a rep. So figure out what you count as a rep and try to see what movements or what adjustments you can do to help you do more reps of it. So sometimes when I'm doing dips, I'll break 90 degrees, but what I'll do is that I'll like lurch up and down. So people would do this for dips. Well, if I was doing like a 60 plus dip set, I would lurch over, then lurch up. Lurch over, lurch up. Still the same movement, breaking 90 degrees, fully extended. I'm not swinging, I'm just putting my body at a different angle. So watch different competitions, watch different calisthenic routines and see if they're doing like super high reps. You'll see how their form is able to stay maintained, as if you'll be able to see how their form maintains throughout the whole workout and see what kind of like not cheap, but like kind of cheating tricks to help you get more out of your workout. Next thing, super important. I was talking to I don't even know, it feels cringy to say I have fans, but I have a guy who was asking for advice. He saw you channel, he went to my Instagram, yeah. But he said, he was asking on like, how do I maximize my training while I'm doing Muay Thai? And what I said to them, one of the things I said to him is that what's important for you to do during your workouts is to calculate your weight. You should know as a calisthenics person how much you weigh the majority of the time. You should know how much you should weigh in the morning. You should know how much you weigh before a workout. And especially if you hit a PR, you need to run to the scale and write that shit down. So that way, you know, in like a year or two, when you're wondering why you can't plateau, you can look back at the weight you originally were and see, okay, I was a bit heavier, I was a bit lighter. Let me go back to that weight and see if I can do the same thing again. Another thing is just record, adjust the form. Literally just like be your biggest fan of obsessed with your form. Last thing, this is the most important you could say. This is when you pick, you know, your trauma or your song, or you in your Zen mode, whatever form of meditation or mental readiness you have to do that afterwards. So what I used to do actually was super toxic. I'm glad I don't do that anymore, where I had a list of things that made me pissed off or rageful because I didn't know how to process my emotions. So afterwards, you know, I mean, if you're going through a breakup, I hope you get through it soon. You will enjoy it, actually. Enjoy the grieving process and use that shit for something amazing and productive. Like Taylor Swift said, she built a whole empire on pettiness. But yeah, that's kind of my tips for helping you maximize your max. Hope it helps. I did say the last video would be my maxes, so I'm still like getting healed up because I did mess up my back brutally. So it's kind of hard to walk, but you know what I mean? Rent's due.